I'm not happy with Lincoln Riley's response to. They asked him about the Notre Dame rivalry.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I love the tradition, but like if it helps us make the playoffs, we'll drop it. And I feel like that's him saying he wants to get rid of the rivalry.
No, you know how I read that, Will?
I think it's the beginning of it.
Will, you know how I read that?
Why?
I think that's Lincoln Riley saying.
How do you read that?
I think that's Lincoln Riley saying we don't want to go out to the Midwest every other year, one extra time. Join the damn conference, and then we'll play you every year. What do you think? Because it's a non-conference game. Will, here's the thing, and it's a compliment to Notre Dame. Look at not Michigan this year, but look at Michigan the previous 2 years. Look at their non-conference schedules, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Look at Ohio State's non-conference schedule this year, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Do you remember when you used to play Michigan every year? They don't do that anymore, do they?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, we did that. We replaced them with like good schools like Texas.
No, I'm not talking about the Notre Dame side of it. I'm talking about the Michigan side of it. Michigan's saying, well, we're playing Ohio State every year. Hell, we brought Penn State in now. They're pretty tough. Iowa defense, pops up once in a while, et cetera, et cetera. And they're saying, why are we playing Notre Dame every year when we want to get into the playoffs? And now that I hate this. I heard the conversation about, well, will the playoff committee give special concessions for teams that play really difficult out of conference schedules? Okay, look, we're a West Coast school. We know how we're treated. We know how USC has been treated. Just go back and look at the 2003 BCS game. We don't get the benefit. We were number one in both polls, and they somehow decided some computer logistic to keep USC out of that BCS game. So if you think USC is going to be, and play in good faith, that we'll play a rough schedule, and then it'll count if we drop an extra game. And, the playoff committee will understand it. We don't trust that shit at all. So the reality of the situation.
The 12, this isn't the 4 best teams get in. The 12 best teams get in. And if USC is really one of the best 12 teams, they should be able to brush off that Notre Dame loss and still have a great season.
Agreed. But here's the flip side of that, though. So let's say you win those games. They should win that game, right? But they they pound the shit out of their team doing it. Right? You beat your team up instead of having, I don't know, let's say there's a conference out there that plays 8 conference games. And then I don't know, about 9 or 10 games in, they play a directional school. Right. But then you're a team like USC who, I don't know, played LSU and Notre Dame in their out of conference games. Then they play Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan, in conference. And then go up to Washington and play Washington. Do you see those schedules as being comparable? Oh, well, it's the SEC. Of course, we need one less conference game, and we get a bye game in week 9 or 10 or whatever the hell they have, their layup season game. And you have to be smart. If you win, you play 12 games. Then you play your conference game and you win your conference game. That's 13 games. And then you got to play, then if you win your conference, you get a first round bye, but you're still getting those 2 other games. It's just the games start adding up, and the body toll, the attrition on players is going, especially on the line, is going to add up. And the fewer games you play against quality competition, when you can sit your team out in the second half and rest them up. Hey, listen, the SEC has done it right for years, and everyone else has done it wrong. And you can't sit back and go, we've never played an FCS school, and we play 9 conference games. Great, no one made you. Why do you think they've been dominating? They have great teams, but also they don't have as many injuries.
Well, let's add this point. The SEC teams have not been punished for doing that. So as long as they were never punished for doing that, they kept on doing it. And why wouldn't you? Yep. Yeah. Why wouldn't you schedule the Citadel if you're not going to get punished for it by the selection committee? Let's remember, Alabama didn't even win the SEC West. Forget about the SEC. Didn't even win the SEC West. Didn't even make the SEC championship game in 2017, still got in and won the national title. So, if you're not going to get punished by the committee, because that the ESPN SEC, that bias that we saw last year, with Texas, getting in and Florida State being left out, then and Alabama getting in. If you're not going to get punished for that kind of scheduling, why would you change? There's zero incentive for the SEC to change.
Absolutely agreed. Anything else, Will? We got to wrap it up. We got 3 calls behind you, and we got about 9 minutes.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just think the history of the rivalry should keep going no matter what. I mean, I do understand that, but still, it's just a, I don't know, it's just a tough look.
Well, sometimes you have to give a little to get a little. And I'm just going to say there's one way that your school can guarantee that continues, and that's, well, to give a little. That's all I'm saying. Yes, I'm being flippant. I'm being flippant. I would hate for this to ever end. It's something that's really special between, it's what's made USC, and I'm quite frankly, I'll say it. It's what's also made Notre Dame is this rivalry. I really do believe that. And so, it's like the yin and yang, right? It's like both sides. You can't have a front without a back. You can't have an SC without an Irish. But you have people now that aren't tied to, that are in very strong positions that aren't tied to this, tied to this rivalry. But what might save us no matter what is it's a big ticket game. And you know who runs college football? The networks. And then really, I think it's safe as long as it still draws eyeballs. So that's my last piece of solace I could give you, probably.